Everyone. I warmly welcome you all to our online webinar program, Historical Study of Phonological Changes in Dravidian Languages. We are thrilled to have you join us today for an enlightening and engaging exploration of phonology. Today, I present here as a fourth-year student of Department of Languages and Community Sri Lanka. This program is facilitated in the Department of Languages and Communication. Our honorable guest is Dr. P. Chandramohan, Professor of Linguistics, with a wealth of knowledge. He will guide us through an insightful discussion today. So we hope you will gain a deep understanding and enrich your program without further extension. It's my pleasure to invite Dr. Niruba Jayasundara to welcome our guest speaker, Dr. P. Chandramohan. Madam.
Thank you, Arusha. So good evening, everyone. Our guest speaker, Professor Chandramohan, Professor CS in Linguistics, Annamalai University, India. Professors from various universities, from home to abroad. Ladies and gentlemen, my pleasure to welcome you all to this academic talk on historical study of phonological changes in Dravidian languages by and beloved teacher. Taught me historical linguistics when I followed the Masters in Linguistics in Annamalai University. First of all, I would like to thank and appreciate Professor Chandramohan for his kind consent to give us this special lecture on this topic. Thank you, sir, for your kindness. And it's my honor and privilege to introduce my respected teacher, Professor Chandramohan, for today's academic forum. Professor Chandramohan has completed his master's and PhD in linguistics in Annamalai University, and at present he is serving as a professor, CS in linguistics, Annamalai University. And his teaching experience spans over 23 years and research 26 years. His field of specializations are semantics, lexicography, historical linguistics, sociolinguistics, and tribal study. He has published books, the following books: A Handbook of Tribal Studies in 2011, Historical Linguistics in 2016, Moliyal Kalaichollagarathi in 2014, and Dictionary of Dravidian Tribes in 2016. His Cadre, an endangered Dravidian tribal language of India handbook on endangered South Asian and Southeast Asian languages, published by Springer Nature, Germany. He has published his research findings in the international journals and conference proceedings in international conferences. And he has guided, at present he is guiding 3 students, and 4 were awarded the degree, and 5 scholars have submitted their theses. And he has completed 8 projects and given 35 special lectures and participated in several national and international conferences and workshops and organized different programs. And he has been honored by the award Asiriya Chemmal from Tamalaga Institute of Educational Research and Advancement, Chennai. And he is a life member of Linguistic Society of India and Tamil Moliyal Kalagam. Apart from this academia, in the professional development activities, he has been a placement officer, Faculty of Indian Languages, Annamalai University, coordinator, Diploma in Soft Skill and Personality Development for the academic year 2015 and 16, co-coordinator 1-week Tamil training program for IPS probationers of 66 RR batch 2013 at CS Linguistics, Annamalai University, India. And a coordinator conducting 3 weeks Tamil training programs for IPS probationers, Tamil Nadu Police Academy, and the coordinator conducting 3 weeks Tamil training program for IPS probationers in the Police Academy from 2017 to 2018, and a wing coordinator, DDE program, MA in Linguistics, MA Translation Studies, and PG Diploma in National NLP from September 2020. So with this brief introduction, I respectfully invite Professor Chandramohan to deliver this guest lecture. Welcome, sir. The forum is open to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Nirupa Jayasundara, for a nice introduction about my activities. Respected professors, dear participants, and Arusha, and other members, those who are joined in this program webinar. So, good evening, one and all. I have great pleasure to join this meeting to share some of my views about historical linguistics and its activities related to my research works. Okay, so I share my screen. Is it visible screen?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So without spending more time, I may directly enter the field what I'm going to present in this webinar. So my present webinar topic is historical study of phonological changes in Dravidian languages. Slide to show. Yeah. So. Okay, so in the field of linguistics, actually, historical study, actually also known as historical linguistics or diachronic linguistics, examine the evaluation of changes of languages over time. So actually, when we are talking about historical linguistics, which involves 2 or more than 2 different periods. So here, diachronic, which refers to study the languages across generations. So in opposite concept, that is the synchronic study, which involves the period of study at a given point of time. These are the 2 different concepts when we are talking about historical linguistics. So namely, that is a diachronic linguistics and also synchronic linguistics. So for a diachronic study, we are concentrating to analyze the language based on the written text. But in the case of synchronic analysis, we concentrate to analyze the language at a given point of time. Here, for synchronic study, also known as descriptive linguistic analysis, we have to collect the data based on the spoken system of the language. So these are all the 2 different extreme points, that is across periods at a given point of time. This is the 2 different concepts just to be involved to analyze the language under the discipline of historical linguistics. So that is actually in the historical linguistics involved to analyze the languages based on its development and how its change or difference when we compare one and another, and how it merge or converge together, and how the social and the cultural contact between the speakers of language can involve language changes and development, and also political influences. So these are all the some features or the social parameters we have to concentrate to analyze the languages based on the development or change. Here, that is a change or development. Through the changes that the language may develop into another stage, because language is an open set. It can that is number of vocabularies can enter into a language. Similarly, that is number of vocabularies also lost that means out of usage of the languages.
Excuse me,
So,
sir.
that is-
Sir, may I interrupt you? Your slides
Yes.
are not moving, sir.
Yeah, I will move. Yeah, that's I will explain one by one slide. It's not that I will move it. No problem. No
Okay,
issues.
okay,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that is the third point. Historical linguistics is the branch of linguistics focuses on the interconnection between different languages of the world. So that is the branches of linguistics. So that is a language family which can give different branches, which is developed from the common ancestors. To know the interconnection between the languages. That is the main idea. That is the discipline entered into linguistics during 19th century based on the, I think that is William Jones' interaction about the changes and the development. After his concept, that is the historical linguistics entered into the field of linguistics to know the interconnection between the languages and how that is the languages are compared with one another to reconstruct. So through the reconstruction, we can identify the cognates and also proto-stages of the language. So that is the main concept. That is a historical linguist can analyze all these features to know the proto form based on this approximately this exact number. That is based on some information. There are over 6,000 distinct human languages are there in the world. So because it may suppose it is not at all fixed one, it may be that is added one word, added number of languages or number, it may be decreased in level because every day or some extent new languages are entered into the field or some languages going to extinct. So that is the approximate value. There are 6,000 distinct languages are the world. So when we are talking about a language family, according to Ethnologue, there are 142 language families are there in the world. But like Campbell 2019 identifies, there are more than 410 independent language families, including isolated languages, have been identified throughout the world situation. So language family is a group of languages that are believed to have descended from the common ancestor, that is the ancestral languages. Here, that is our common ancestor. Just when we are talking about this concept, we have to introduce the family tree model, which was developed by Augustus Schleicher during 19th century as a German linguist. So here, just this is the diagram given here, that is to know the proto-language, parent language, daughter language, and the sister languages. So when we consider A as a proto-language, which is source for the later development languages, we may call it in the name of B or C or D, or some extent in the case of Dravidian languages, we may have Proto-Dravidian. From the Proto-Dravidian, we have three different subgroups: Central Dravidian, South Dravidian, South Central, Central, and North Dravidian. So these are all the four different classifications. So the first stage from Proto to next stage, which will be considered as a parent language, which is the source for the later development languages, is known as in the name of daughter languages. So from daughter language, that is another stages of development is known as in the name of sister language. So when we are concentrating these the four different stages, there is no direct connection between sister language to proto language. So these are that is this is sister language directly connected with the daughter language, which are developed from this common source. So from this source, languages identified in the name of proto language and also parent language, daughter language, sister languages based on its development. So when we are talking about Dravidian languages, there are 26 different known Dravidian languages are there at present. They are classified into 4 genetic subgroups. That is the South Dravidian languages. We have 11 different languages under this group, namely that is Tamil, Malayalam, Irula, Kuruba, Kodagu, that is Toda, Kota, Padaga, Kannada, Koraga, and Tulu. So these are all the 11 different languages under South Dravidian. Under South Central Dravidian, we have 7 languages, namely Telugu, Gondi, Kunda, Kuyi, Kubi, Bengo, and Manda. Then Central Dravidian, we have 6 different languages, namely Kolami, Naiki, Barji, Ollari, Kadaba, and Naiki, Chanda, also another name under Central Dravidian. And North Dravidian languages, we have only 3, namely Guru, Smalto, and Brahvi. Brahvi used to speak in Pakistan, particularly in Balochistan. So these are all the some basic information when we are talking about Dravidian languages. to that is, and also proto languages, how it developed from the common sources to later development languages. So that is based on its changes and development. So number of languages are developed or that is developed from the common sources, which can be used by the people in the that is based on the region or based on the groups or based on the states or nations, something like that. So that is written records of the that is already used to speak diagram study. We have to concentrate to analyze the data based on the written records. So written records of earlier speech, resemblance between the languages, and varieties of local dialects. Here there are varieties of local dialects which may be grouped under the synchronic study. Already I told that is in the descriptive linguistic analysis. All should to show that languages are changed, that is undergone some changes during the course of time. Maybe across period or at a given point of time. At a given point of time means just we may concentrate the variations based on the dialectal concept or regional variation or some extent provincial concept also. So here that is when we are talking, that is in the changes in the field of historical linguistics related to language and its usage. It may comes under the some regular features, and also we may use to write some rules. Without rules, a sound may not be changed into another sounds. If you identified some changes without any rules, it may influenced by the dialectal variation, but not the changes based on its level to identify the language rules. So some changes are under some rules. We may give some that is systems how it changes. So when we refer to Sanskrit literature and the middle or modern, so here I refer some few examples. The word initial position in early Tamil, it's a start with the ya, but in modern Tamil or middle Tamil, that is ya is last, none remaining we yield r, which means who. Yanai, some extent people used to pronounce anai also. Here also ya is last, remaining we have a word anai. Then yadu becomes adu, yandu becomes andu. So when we compare the four different datas, so the word initial position, ya is last when we compare two different periods. So now we used to say, yeah, instead of that is yar also there some extent, but more, that is a variations we can find it when we collect the data from the speakers of the language. So then across languages, when we compare the data from two different languages, from Tamil and Malayalam, wherever we have a word I ending in Tamil, it is changed into I ending word in Malayalam, which belongs to same South Dravidian groups of languages. So here silai, which that is changed into sila, then talai, tala, malai, mala, varai, vara. So that is the Tamil word ending with I changed into A in Malayalam language. So I changed into A in the word final positions when we compare Tamil and Malayalam languages. Okay. So sound changes arises a language for so many reasons. So it is not at all simply we can use to say this sound may be changed into another sound. It has some changes. So basic concept means when we are talking about basic features, some changes comes under the physical character or social activities, some extent simplicity and laziness. So these are all the basic concept to show the changes of the language when we compare even from people to people who lives in the different places. Suppose again Tamil Nadu, in central part of Tamil Nadu, just the vocabulary pronunciation is entirely different when we compare it to Kongu dialect. It means the Coimbatore district, or some extent in Salem, Western dialect, Salem district. It shows a lot of variations based on the dialectal variations. So here, another concept is simplicity and laziness. So that is when we are, that is when we feel to pronounce the word in a simple way, people used to pronounce some extent borrowed words from other languages, particularly from English or Sanskrit, other concepts. Here, under laziness also, that is the people, the word, the pose here, the word ra or la and la in Tamil language, that's the people are not at all exactly pronounced when we pronounce such type of words in normal conversation. So in the pronunciation level, there is no differences between the following sounds when we compare written Tamil to spoken Tamil. For example, here I mentioned here la and la. Another one is the big and the ra also. Then ra and ra. Then na and the na. That is retroflex, alveolar, and flap. These are all the some variations. You know all the phonological status in Tamil language. Here, just here I refer here. Palam becomes palam. Then central part of Tamil Nadu, written Tamil, we used to say palam. But in some other dialects, we can identify such type of variations. Instead of ra, they pronounced as la, palam. So here palam refers to fruits and strength. But in central dialect, palam which refers to only fruit. Then Yelu becomes Yelu, then Valai becomes Valai. So Ra changed into Ra. So without any rule, such type of changes are there in Tamil language due to dialectal variation.
Sir, sorry to
Similarly,
interrupt you, sir. Excuse me,
okay.
your slides are not moving yet, sir.
Yeah. Now is it okay?
Some technical problems. I think you can off the slides and then again start it. Then
Okay.
it will. Yes. End it and start it, sir. Please.
Now it's okay or not? Is it visible?
It's visible, but it's not moving, sir.
Yeah, just I used to I stay the slide few minutes to explain the data, then I will move it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Because several participants are putting the note that it's not moving.
Okay. Then other words, that is ra becomes ra, arai becomes arai, karai becomes kari becomes kari, irai becomes irai. So there is no variations when we pronounce ra and ra. One is a trill or flap, and another is the alveolar ra. Similarly, la and la, alavu, alai, ali, kalai. So that is now we can use to say these two different sounds merged together in modern situation in Tamil context, where the people find the variations based on the pronunciation is some extent it shows variation when we compare one dialect to another dialect. Similarly, other sounds also there, na and na, the alveolar versus dental na also. Ani, anu, inai. So here also there is no variations. Then similarly, alveolar and dental also, anagarigam is changed into anagarigam, anegam changed into anegam. So here there is no variations in the pronunciation level. That is the two different sounds merged together. Just then it can yield two different meanings when we have such type of phonemes in Tamil languages, but it has no such type of rules. Suppose when we identified any rules, such type of changes in any language, we have to give some rules. Rules means that is the sound changed into another sounds because of the influence of preceding or following sound. So we have to give some rules. That is a condition. Here, these are all the which may not give any conditions how the sounds are changed into another sound. Okay, then when we concentrate the data in the phonological level from Proto-Dravidian roots, here I mentioned few examples. I may not concentrate all the data where we can identify a lot of phonological changes in Dravidian languages. So here I am giving some examples to analyze, to identify the changes in the root level when we are talking about the Proto-Dravidian root to the later development languages. So Proto-Dravidian root can be free forms or boards in the case of verbs. Most verb roots may also occur without any additions as minimal utterances in the imperative singular. So that is the free forms means suppose normally we used to say va, which means to come, or po, which means to go, or padi, which means to read. So a lot of examples we can give it, which function as the imperative singulars without adding any inflected markers. So the degree of consonantal changes from high to low is indicated by the canonical forms as here I mentioned some that is rules, how the concept, that is structure of the roots, and when we are talking about the Proto-Dravidian to later development languages. Here consonant, it may be optional, plus that is vowel length and the consonants becomes consonant plus vowel consonant becomes consonant plus vowel length developed from consonant plus vowel. These are all the some basic concept structure when we are when we have identified phonological changes in the roots from the later development languages. Here, for example, I mentioned few words here. Simple, that is a syllable reduction. Here, consonant 1. Here I refers to consonant 1 means any consonant other than the member of the alveolar and the retroflexus. That is the data given on the side. Then vowel 1, any vowel short or long. Then here that is ya, the ow, and here y, w, k, that refers to vowel plus I, ow, ak. So these are all the three different concepts with the vowel 2 and becomes consonant 1 and vowel 1 plus short or long. Here, Proto-Dravidian, we have a word TM. So, which means developed from T, length marga, high front vowel E, which means honey. Then Proto-South Dravidian, it yielded Theyam, it's developed from Thame. In Proto-South Dravidian, one Tamil Malayalam, which is yielded from the Proto-Dravidian concept, we may have Thane. Similarly, South Dravidian too, that is normally we used to say some other language, Telugu and other languages. That is the Telugu, we have about Thane. Then Kolami, Thane, Kodaku and Gonda and Gondi, Thane. Then in that is Kodaku and Toda, Kodaku, Kannada and Tulu, we have a word Thane, Theni, Kannada, Thenu or Jane, or some extent we may have a word Jenu, and Tulu we have a word Tia. So from the Proto-Dravidian to the later development languages from South Dravidian 1 and 2, we have a word such type of variations when we have a syllable reduction, that is TM, that is developed from this common source into the later development languages. We have a word Thane or Theni. So that is the vowel reductions. That is some of the words yielded from the earlier period to modern period. Reduction of the syllable structure. Similarly, that is in the Central Dravidian, we have a word TM becomes theme. Then Parji, Ollari, Kadapa, we have a word Theen. Kolami and Naiki, we have a word Thene. North Dravidian, that is TM, developed from Theen. Then Crooks, we have a word Thini, which means bee. Malto, Theni, which means honey or honeybee. So that is just we can identify the variations or syllable reductions from Proto-Dravidian. That is the early stage, that is proto concept to later development language words. Then alteration between long and short vowels. So all Dravidian languages carry the evidence of alteration between heavy and light root syllable when a formative vowel follows V2, that is A, E, and U, when a monosyllabic root becomes disyllabic. So here, when we follow such type of procedure, that is a formative vowel functions, that is a monosyllabic root becomes disyllabic words from early to modern period. Here that it may be referred in the heading of quantitative variations. So here a same data, that is the structure also given based on the structure of the words. Consonant, that is the optional, then vowel length refers to the category 1, then consonant, again consonant, that is optional from vowel plus consonant. That is developed or yielded into consonant optional, then vowel consonant in the position of V2, that is vowel second position. So in the Proto-Dravidian, we have a word not. Yes.
Excuse me, sir. So
Yes.
sorry for the interrupt, sir, but the slides are not moving yet.
Oh my God. See.
So that's what I interrupted.
Yeah.
Is
it okay now?
No, it's not moving, sir.
So can you
have you seen the quantitative variation?
No. Your first slide is there. Not any slides moved so far. Yes, that's what I.
1 minute. I stop the sound. Then again I restart.
Yes, that's what I told you to stop and share.
Is it moving now?
No, sir. Can you send it to a WhatsApp? My WhatsApp. I'll send it to.
Okay, 1 minute. I will send it to you. Yeah.
Yes.
Sir, move ஆகுது sir slide.
மூவ் ஆகுதுங்களா?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
இப்போ move ஆகுது
Quantitative.
sir.
நான்
Yes.
Yes, sir.
நான் எல்லாத்தையும் க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிட்டு வெளியில வந்திருக்கேன். ஓகே, வேர் இட் இஸ் நவ்.
Quantitative variation.
ஓகே ஓகே ஓகே. இங்க போலீஸே வெளியில வரலையே.
Sir.
One minute. Can you see that?
Quantitative variation.
Okay, okay. Now it's okay.
Yes,
Yeah. Is it okay now? Is it moving
Yes,
now?
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's moving, but quantitative variation is there in the.
Okay. Okay. So these are some previous slides.
Sir, moving
You want,
another stage.
shall I repeat or shall I move to quantitative variation?
Yes, sir. Can you briefly repeat, because nobody has seen the slides so far.
Okay. Here the phonological changes in the Proto-Dravidian root. Is it okay now?
No, it's in the quantitative variation. Yes.
Okay. 1 minute. I will send it to you. Then you can share it 1 minute.
Sir, moving, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Now moving.
Phonological changes in.
Okay, I will say.
Yes.
Oh, no issues. I will send it to you. Then you can share it.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe in the mail. One minute. Just I am in the other system. Nirmal, can you give your mail ID as well? Your mail ID. Just I make there is declare some informations when we are talking about the sound changes. So that is the sound changes comes under the some rules already I used to say, because without without condition your sound may not be changed to another sounds. So when we are just talking about the condition versus unconditioned, condition changes comes under the some rules based on the influence of proceeding and the following sound features within a word. But in unconditioned sound change, it may be influenced by the dialectal variations. We may not give any rule to know the changes of the sound from one level to another level. Here I used to say that is most of the that is in the sounds in that is in the phonological level, that is in Tamil phoneme merged together without any variations. Here I mentioned here la and la, ra, la, that is ra and ra, na, na, and dental and alveolar na. That is here. These are all the sounds merged together without any variations. When we have a data from different regions of Tamil Nadu, particularly that is in the western, I used to say western dialect, northern dialect, or Kongu dialect, or central dialect. See that these are all the some variations are there in Tamil Nadu based on the regions. So which shows a lot of the differences in the pronunciation levels due to influence of dialect, but not based on the conditions. Here, these are all the keywords I listed here for to know the variations between the sound systems. But when we are talking about that is in the Proto-Dravidian root system in the phonological levels, here that is the Proto-Dravidian root can be free forms or words in the case of verbs. Most verb roots may also occur without any additions as minimal utterances in the imperative singular. So the root forms are free without adding any inflected markers. For example, the word or par or nada or padi. So these are all the imperative singulars which may be used in the for the conversation without adding any inflected markers, which can give the meaning, that is a word meaning without any grammatical concept or adding the inflected markers. So that is the imperative singulars which also function in the society without the variations. So the degree of consonantal changes from high to low is indicated by the canonical forms is as follows. Here consonant, let's say within a bracket, it may be optional then vowel length with a consonant developed from, that is a optional consonant with vowel plus consonant. So developed from, again, consonant optional, vowel length is developed from consonant optional, then vowel. So that is in the word, that is in the development from right to left. That is in the earlier concept, that is a Proto-Dravidian word. It's a developed, that is how we identify the changes from modern period to earlier period. Because whatever the data we have in our hand, just it may be collected from the contemporary period or at a given point of time. Now, how the word is used and how it is developed from the earlier source. So this is the actual concept, how it changed when we have a data from Proto-Dravidian to modern languages. Here, that is already used to say some few examples I listed here to know the changes in the phonological level. The first case I may use to say syllable reduction. Here, consonant plus vowel, within a bracket we have a sound ya, ow and ak. Here we may use to pronounce I, ow and ak with vowel 2 and a consonant 1 plus vowel 1. That is the V1 or C1 information given in the right side. That is a C1, any consonant other than the member of the alveolar and a retroflex series. Then vowel 1, any vowel short or long. Then consonant 2, any consonant except nasal, that is nya. Then V2, that is vowel 2, that is a, e and u. That is, it may be function as a short or long. That is most probably, rarely we may identify in the case of long concept. So here, that is the we have a word in Proto-Dravidian, TM, which means honey. So that is developed, that is changed into theme from one stage to another stage. Then the same word, when we have concept, that is word in Proto-South Dravidian, we may have a word te. So it's into theme, next stage. Then that is the same concept when we move to South Dravidian 1. That is South Dravidian. That is already I referred the concept based on its genetic relationship. South Dravidian 1, South Dravidian 2, Central Dravidian, and North Dravidian. Then South Dravidian 1, Tamil, Malayalam, we may have a word teen developed. That is just to compare this word teen with Proto-Dravidian TM. That is a vowel reduction. That is syllable reduction. Then South Dravidian 2. We may have a word that is language Telugu, Gondi, Gonda, South Dravidian 2, Gonda. That is we have a word Tene, Ten and Tene. Then Toda, Kota, Kannada and Tulu. We have a word that is here Teni, Tenu, or some extent Jenu in Kannada, then Tia in Tulu language. So then next level, that is in the Central Dravidian, we have that is the word TM changed into theme. Though here the Parji, Ollari and Kadapa, so we have a word teen, and Kolami and Naiki we have a word teening. The North Dravidian TM changed into teen. So we have two different languages which may have a data from Kuruks and Malto. We have a word teeni and teni, which means honey or honeybee. So here syllable reductions when we compare the concept from Proto-Dravidian to data development languages based on the variations, that is the South, Central and North Dravidian languages. Then another concept, alterations between long and short vowels. So we have some alterations to know the changes in the vowel level. All Dravidian languages carry evidences of alteration between heavy and light root syllables. When a formative vowels as V2, that is A, E and U, already I mentioned, and or when a monosyllabic root becomes disyllabic word. So this is some alterations when we have a word from early stage to modern stage based on the phonological level. Here quantitative variations, just how it vary when we compare this across time. So again, the syllable, that is a pattern is, our structure is given here based on the position of the consonants and vowel. The word I mentioned here from Proto-Dravidian, that is a part. Then part plus vowel, which means to run or fly. So that is the same word when we have in South Dravidian is like this. That is Tamil, Malayalam, we have a word paru or paru, which means run or to fly. So paru, para, actually now we used to say, but paru is the South Dravidian form, is developed from the early stage. Then Kodaku, Toda, Koda, Kannada, and Tulu, we have a word parn, por, par, paru, pari, and paruni. So there is a quantitative variations when we compare the data based on the vowel systems. That is the most probably that is in the word final positions. That is here in the Tamil and Malayalam we have a word paru and paru, and other languages that is the vowel is completely lost except Kannada. Here we have a word paru and pari, and other languages we have here vowel systems how it changes in its level. Then South Dravidian 2, Telugu, Paru or Parasu or Gondi, Pari, Kui, Pask, Kuvi, Prad. Then suppose again, so these are all the some concept when we have a word for fly and run. In some extent, the word that is chup, that is actually it pronounces cha in the Proto-Dravidian. Here mentioned here chuar is developed from chu plus r, which means salt. In South Dravidian 1, actually that is refers to Tamil and other languages. It refers to up or over. It's developed from Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada, Tulu, and Telugu. It refers to uppu. So that is the Proto-Dravidian. We have a word chup. It's yielded in modern situation. It refers to uppu. Similarly, Kodagu and Toda, we have a word up. Then Gonda, that's sorry, Kodagu, Malayalam, Kannada, and Tulu, we have a word uppi. So also Tamil, we used to say uvar, which refers to taste. So that is a salt taste, we may use to say uvar or uvarpu. Malayalam also we have a word uvar, and Kannada, ogar, and Tulu, ubari or ogari, which means the taste of the salt. Then South Dravidian 2, Telugu, ogaru, which means harsh taste. In actually in Kannada, that is cover, and it's developed from godi, sover or sover. That is here it refers to vowel metathesis. That is alteration of the sound systems within a word without changes in the meaning level, and also cover or over. In Gonda, we have a word soru, and kuvi, haru, bengo, hor, manda, jar. Here we identified some of the sounds, that is the peculiar features in other languages, sa or ha, and ja also not in that is the Dravidian in nature. It may be borrowed from some other sources, particularly from other languages, especially that is a Sanskrit influence. And the Central Dravidian, Kolami, Naiki, we have a word soup. Then Barji, Ollari, Kadaba, we have a word chup, soup, and chupu. Okay, so in the next level, that is when the continuation of vowel changes, umlaut refers to a specific type of sound changes where a vowel in a word is influenced by the nearby vowel or consonant, resulting in a change in the vowel's pronunciation. Here, Proto-Dravidian, it's a common EA-UO alteration is common in our Dravidian languages, which we may have some examples based on the vowel, that is, it refers to umlaut situations. So here, that is in the word, ilai, actual pronunciation, it changed into ela, which means leaf or petal in the meaning level. That is in the same word in Malayalam and the Kodagu, Toda, Kota, Kannada, and Gondi, Kodagu, it refers to E becomes A. That is Malayalam, that is still it pronounces ila, but other languages E changed into A. And other languages, that is a South Dravidian one, in other words for the word ulai, it's a South Dravidian word that is ol plus vowel, that is yielded, that is developed from Tamil, which means ulai. In Malayalam language, ula, and other languages we have a word elkal, toda, so we have a word ol, ole, and other languages, Kannada and Tulu also ole and ule. So these variations, how it functions, the vowel alterations, that is the EA and UO in Dravidian languages. Actually, this data that is refers to the stages of development But in the same case, in the that's in the pronunciation level, in the modern situations, I refer some data based on the contemporary field. So suppose when we have some idea that is received from the following slide, so you can easily get some idea how it changes are developed from early period to modern period in the case of EA or OO alterations in Dravidian languages. Here, actually, I used to say that is a phonological changes in the that is the individual language based on the influence of labial features. So, in the modern situations, the such type of changes occur in Dravidian languages based on the labial influence. The sound or phoneme of a language is changes on the basis of the articulation. It's a well-known concept. Suppose in the high front vowel E changed into mid vowel A and back vowel U. Sorry, mid vowel A and back U changed into O is common in the languages. So, in the process of sound changes, irregular may occupy some places. Why I used to say regular means E, A, U, O is the regular changes when we have a data from early period to modern period. Some irregular concept also there in the modern situation when we have a data from Tamil language in the contemporary period, how it functions when we have changes EA and UO. So that is in the unrounded vowel E and A changed to their corresponding rounded back vowels U and O when it proceeding with the labial stop. That is the bilabial stop sounds, that is a pa, and nasal sound ma with the labiodental va. So these are all the features, some of the features identified when I collect the data in the contemporary period. These are all the words which may be collected from the source of the Tamil people in the given point of that is in the synchronic level. Here, E changed into U. How it functions? It is E becomes A is possible. It's also regular, but we have a word in the modern situations. E changed into U. We have a word Pillai. We used to pronounce Pulla. That is, it may be a spoken form, but here E changed into U. Similarly, Pillayar changed into Pullayar. Piravi changed into Puravi. Pidi changed into Pudi. Pinnaku actually changed into Punnaku. This is oil cake. So here we can identify such type of irregular variations due to the bilabial stop sounds when it in the word initial positions. Pa, it's changed into that is E changed into U. And other words concept, that is PD, Pittu becomes Puttu, Pidungu becomes Pudungu, Tavidu becomes Tavudu, Bidu becomes Udu, Vittukodu becomes Vittukodu. That is in the word initial or medial positions, that is E changed into U. Some extent the vowel or that is in the word initial position. We have a word Pa or some, that is in the medial other position, that is the cluster also functioned here to know the changes based on its rule. Here I may frame the rules to know the changes of that is irregular changes. Here E becomes U in the word initial position when we have a consonant, that is a bilabial voiceless stop sounds pa and labiodental va. That is the first concept. Just we analyze the data, we can get such type of information how the E becomes changed into U, because I used to say that is the sounds may influence to change such type of sounds. Second one, E becomes U in the word final positions when we have here sounds la, ra, na and ta. So how I used to say, some extent, some other situations, the E may not change into U when we have such some other sounds in the languages in the contemporary period. The second situation, when I'm talking about the irregular concept, A changed into O. Here, normally used to say that is a pendati or pen, or none used to say pon. Suppose the wife, the spoken language, we used to say pondati. Similarly, pettai used to say pottai. That is a female board. Here also A changed into O. Similarly, E changed into that is back on a rounded vowel O. Pirandanal normally used to say porandanal. Piravi changed into poravi, which means birth. Pirai changed into pora, which means crescent. Pinam changed into ponam, which means dead body. Milagai changed into Molaga, which means chili. Here now we can understand how it functions. E changed into O, and another concept, A changed into A in the medial positions. Palapadam changed into Pelapadam. Pa becomes Pe. Second one, Naham becomes Nevam. Narambu becomes Nerambu. Idiapam becomes Idiapam. So here in the word medial positions, A changed into A. Here there is a rule where we framed to know the changes. A becomes O or E becomes O and A becomes O A when we have a labial consonants. The next stage after vowel change, then the palatalizations. Due to assimilation, some sounds move its place of articulation nearer to the palate. This happens once in the sound it is assimilating to have already got a palatal or near palatal place of articulation. Here the word pa is the root plus ittu plus u, paitu. That is, it means irrigation. That is a field irrigation. What is the water irrigated to the field means we used to say paitu, tannir paichinan or paitu. So that is in the word medial position, itta changed into itcha. That is a near palatal situation. That is an articulation which refers to near palate. Then kaitu becomes kachadu. Kai kaitadu, that is yield, which means yield. Kaitu changed into kachadu or kachu. Then other context, that is a ta, the retroflex stop changed into palatal in favor of the following. Another palatal in the noun forms. There is a medicinal plant in the name of Tiruvachi. Actually, it's changed into Tiruvachi. That is itchi. That is a retroflex stop the ta and palatal sound cha in the favor of that is in the palatal that is cha. Again, the ta is changed. That is the we can use to say assimilated category. That is a ta in favor of cha changed into itcha. So Tiruvachi changed into Tiruvachi. Kachi, that is a political group. We used to say Kachi. And Archi, that is ruling party, that is which means which pronounced as Archi, that is the Itcha is changed into Itcha in favor of near palatal sounds. Further, that is that dental ta occurs in cluster. That is the cluster, that is a geminated future. Itta changed into palatal Itcha when it proceeded with ya, e, and I. When we have such type of sounds, the itta is changed into itcha. Here the word aravanaitu to itcha. Then tanitu becomes tanichi. Adittu becomes adichu. Pidittu becomes pudichu. Adaitu becomes adachu. Kaitu becomes kachu. Yield. So here that is the ta occur in geminated futures. Itta it changed into itcha when it proceeded these sound systems. So from the data given above or discussed above shows that two different types of changes. Yes, that is itta changed into itcha when it proceeding with ya, e, and I, and ya becomes last. So here that is we can easily find out the variations how it ya is last. Some data here I mentioned. Okay, 1 minute. Here, kaitadu, last word, kachadu. That is ya is last. In the last data, we have that is two different variations. That is changes. Itta becomes icha, and ya is last in the word medial positions. Here, but some extent, that is in the homogeneous consonant cluster, itta protected when it proceeding with a, u, and o. Here, kattadu, which means guarded, it may not change into kachadu. So, kattadu, it again yielded the same pronunciation, kattadu. Then, puttadu. Pu puttadu means we may not pronounce as pu puchadu. We used to say pu puttadu. Here, itta again protected with the following, that is vowels. Again, achuruttu is a word which means threaten, also maintain the same position without changes. That is, itta becomes itcha. Is not at all here. Then aduttadu, which means next. we may not, that is, it maintain the same position. Ita, that is ita is protected when we have here a, u and o vowels in these situations. So here I used to say ita becomes icha, the word initial position when it proceed or followed the vowel, that is sound system a, ya, e and I. Then ya becomes last in the word initial positions. Again, that is it that is in the word motion, that is a consonant cluster is maintained. Okay, in another concept, in some other examples, words ending with itra, that is, the scholars explain that nouns end with itra changed into itta when it added case markers. But some extent we can pursue this type of changes in the nouns as well as the verbs without any inflected markers. Without any added markers, that is, the itra changed into itta in the modern concept, in the contemporary period. Here, that is in the alveolar till ra, pronounced as it is, when it comes in isolation, where a word like aram, which means virtue, paravai, which means bird, uravu, which means relation. Here, ra is not at all changed, but when we have the cluster situation, it again changed into itta. For example, in the same situation, when it comes after nasal, it pronounced as indra, but not ra. Because when it occur in isolation, for a word that is a uravu or some other examples in previous slide we discussed, but in some extent, when we have the sounds with the nasal concept, it pronounces indra. For example, kandru, kalf, yenru, or ponru. Here, there is the ra pronounced as indra in the word medial positions. The words like utrar, totram, otran, sutrula, vetri, etc., that is the ra geminate, and it is pronounced as itra but not itra. Actually, that is the system is something different. That is, we may pronounce the word that is the sound in isolation, we pronounce as ra. When it clustered together, we may use to pronounce itra but not irra. That is the pronunciation pattern when we have a sound in the word level. Apart from this situation, the ra geminate in the medial position, preceded and followed by the vowels. It again changed into itta. I already explained. So some of the data here to know the variations. We have a cluster, geminate the consonant for the following words. Here, R2 changed into R2, which that is the become cold. Utru becomes Utu, which means spring or pour. Yetru becomes Yetu. Yematru becomes Yematu, which means teat. Otru becomes Ottu, sponge. Otrumai or Ottumai, unity. Katralai or Kattalai, aloe vera. Katradi or Katadi, which means kite. Here we can identify such type of changes where we have a cluster itra, it changed into itta. So here there is a rule to know the changes. Itra becomes itta in the word medial positions when we have such type of vowel phonemes. E, A, A, O, and U. It's maintained the same situations, changes like this. Okay. Then it moves to next level, sound changes in the syllable loss positions. So loss of vowel is especially common in languages with strong stress on one syllable of a word. As a result, stressed syllable in the word tends to become reduced or maybe lost. Here, that is a concept, haplology. One of the two adjacent syllables of identical or similar form is lost or failed to appear in the first place. So this is a type of kind of sound change where we have here changes in the identical adjacent syllables. In addition with this, due to strong stress and or consonant, cluster of the syllable is lost from the following words. Here, there is the situations, the word ahappai changed into appa. Then Yedundiru becomes Yendiri. Here, what I used to say, that is adjacent syllables are identical, it may be lost. Yedundiru or Yendiri, Talaipagai becomes Talappa, Tannir becomes Tanni, Pillayar Chaturthi. That is the festival for Pillayar, God Ganesha. We used to say Sadurthi becomes Sutti. Here, that is in the concept is capitology. One of the two adjacent syllables are identical or similar form is lost or fails to appear in its place. So here, that is in the syllable is completely lost in favor of the identical syllables in the word in the modern situations. In another category, we used to say dissimulation, that is sounds are changed in its level, which shows not similar in the same category, because that is a sound, for example, that is a wheel or stop sounds, car may change it into voiceless variation only, but not other sounds. If it is like this, it may be grouped under assimilated category, but in the dissimulation, the sounds involved, that is, becomes less like to other concept, other sounds. The dissimilating phonemes loses one or more of the features it shared with another nearby phoneme. Here, Bayiru changed into Vavuru, that is, Ya becomes Va. It's a totally dissimilar concept that is based on the articulation. Ya changed into Va, labiodental Va. Then Vanam, labiodental Va in the word initial position, it changed into bilabial Ma, Manam. Then Ubadai, it changed into Uvadai. That is again Pa, bilabial voiceless stop sounds, Pa changed into labiodental Va. It is under the dissimulated categories. Similarly, some of the examples also listed here, how the dissimulated features function in the Tamil languages. Tubakal changed into Tubakal, again Pa changed into Va. Ahadu changed into Avadu, again Ka changed into Va. Serugu changed into Soruvu, changed into Ka becomes Va. Tosai Tirupi, that is a kind of ladle which we used to make a dosa. That is a Tosai Tirupi changed into Tilupi. So Tirupi becomes Tilupi, Ra changed into La. So that is in the function, the modern situation where we have a word in Tamil language. When we compare the other languages, both Tamil and Malayalam, that is a Proto-Dravidian Ka in the word initial position is palatalized to Cha before a front vowel E. That is both vowel and that is a short and long, and A both short and long. That is not followed by a retroflex or an alveolar consonants. So the changes must have taken place at the Proto-Tamil Malayalam stage, which was the common source of these two different languages. Okay, so here is the here there is a rule how it functions from the Proto-Dravidian concept. Rule number 1, Proto-Dravidian Ka changed into Cha. The word final positions with that is a vowel plus consonant, which refers to retroflex and alveolar situations. Here Tamil, we have a word Siddhar, that is Siddharu. Malayalam also same concept. Telugu, Sedaru. Kodagu, Kit, to sprinkle, Toda, Kedaru. So here Ka becomes Cha, that is a rule number 1. And the next concept, Proto-Dravidian Kidar plus Adu, that is in the in Tamil, we have a word that is Sila becomes Sila, which means few. Malayalam also Sila, and Kannada and Tulu also Kela. So these type of variations we can find it under the rule number 1 when we have here consonant phonics Ka becomes Cha. Then rule number 2, Proto-Dravidian Inka becomes Icha. So actually, that is in the Tamil Malayalam, even the intervocalic Ka is palatalized, like the word initial Ka before your front vowel, and that in the changes is highly irregular. That is in the Tamil and the Malayalam, we have a word Arisi, which means rice. In Kannada, Akki. In Toda, we may used to say Aski. That is in the Proto-Dravidian. Tamil and Kannada, we used to say Arki also. That is the original concept. In the Proto-Dravidian word, we have a word Ari or Arki. Again, it is changed into Arisi. So next word concept, that is Nangjil, then Ningyol, and Kannada Negal or Negil. That is a Proto-Dravidian concept. Tamil and Kannada, we have a word Nangil, and Telugu also Ga. That is Inka becomes here, just we Inka becomes Icha, the rule. That is in the palatalization also already we discussed how it that is Inta or Itta changed Incha and Icha. Okay, so these words we already discussed. How
Dravidian languages and phonological changes of the Dravidian languages. Actually, I want to know about the dialect variations, how it impact for phonological changes, especially you know that Sri Lankan dialect. Some of the dialects are totally different from Indian dialect of Tamil. How we discuss based on these theories.
Okay, here I already normally that is some of the dialects will preserved and ancient. In here, the situation is something different. So we have a lot of dialectal variation based on the region, based on the caste, based on the profession, that is, and also based on the time. That is which we call the temporal dialect. Here, we may have a lot of variations or changes when we have a word, even the same word with a different region or different caste. So it purely influenced by the dialectal concept, but not influenced by the structure of the language. Because then that is in the structure, we have such type of principles where a sound change into another sounds based on its articulation, otherwise it may not be. Here I don't know how it functions in Sri Lankan situation. Some extent the people used to say Sri Lanka or Singapore or Malaysia, the people used to pronounce exact pronunciation what we have about in Tamil language. But in Tamil situation, dialectal variation is entirely different. District they used to pronounce Payam. Here the original meaning of the word Payam, which means fear. But both the word Payam and Padam refers to fruit in Western dialect of Tamil Nadu. So some difference. But in southern part of the Tamil Nadu, particularly in language, even groups which may be influenced with one another due to dialectal concept. Because before 9th century, Tamil and Malayalam belongs to 9th century, it bifurcated into two different levels based on this usage of the language. Here we used to say what we call suppose mutual intelligibility. When we fail to understand the two different dialects of the same language, which may be differ in its situation, to know the language by its name. That is the first stage. It refers to dialect, different dialects. When we fail to understand the language, it is separated into a different language from the common source. So the dialect shows a lot of variation in the phonological level due to the pronunciation level, but not based on the structure of the language level.
Yes, thank you.
Is it clear?
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you very much for your.
Yes.
Tamika, I have an answer for your question.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam.
I studied a novel which is written in Sri Lankan dialect. The sound changes which we have studied from Proto-Dravidian to till now, not at all applicable to our language, because the structure of verb is entirely different. I'm studying only the verbs. That's why I'm very much sure that these phonological changes are entirely different from Sri Lankan Tamil. Just to analyze the verb structure, it is not the verbal stem plus tense marker plus PNG marker. Most of the verbs are losing the tense markers. That is my observation. That's why the Sri Lankan Tamil needs entirely different study. So there are many variations found in current Tamil.
Yeah, madam. Yeah. Sri Lankan Tamil as a dialect of the Tamil, but within Sri Lankan Tamil, there are lots of sub-dialects are available. As Renuga madam said, we can identify many dialects in Sri Lankan Tamil also. Many variations are also there. But in some written form also available in Sri Lankan Tamil. As you know that some allophones are available. But it's not totally absent in Indian Tamil. As an example, in Indian Tamil, kalvi, but in Sri Lankan Tamil, used as a kalvi, also there. In Indian Tamil, yar, but in Sri Lankan Tamil, air. This type of variations available, and we can identify some allophones also.
Yes, Tamika, you need a lot of study and the not only phonological system, morphological system also, there are much differences find in your I have studied, I have taken the data from the novels. From that, I came to the this conclusion. Soon I am publishing that paper.
Oh, thank you very much, madam.
Yeah. Congratulations, Robert.
Any other questions? So this is the last call. Yes.
I just have a question, but I don't know how to ask. Is there any similarity between Kannadam and Singalam? Hello. My question is there any similarities between Kannadam and Singalam?
I think her is not reachable. I think there is a network issue again in this side.
Yes, sir has gone. Right. Here. 1 minute. I'll call him.
I think there is no similarities between Kannada and Singala, because Singala comes from a different language family and Kannada is a Dravidian. That is what is your question, right?
That's what it looks like, a wrong assumption that Singala comes from a different language family.
Singala, I suppose it comes from the Indo-Aryan family, not the Dravidian.
No.
Yeah.
Is it?
Sinhala is Indo-Aryan language family, but grapheme wise, somewhat similarities available. Yeah, grapheme wise, that's
Because
the reason.
like,
Yeah, I think, yeah, grapheme.
you have something called
Yeah.
Vattalit, no? The round script.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
you look at
Yeah.
Sinhala and Kannada,
Yeah, I think
you can't find a difference. It looks more same.
yeah, from Pallava influence available in Sinhala scripts. I think same available in Kannada script also. That's why you are raising this problem. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's, I think
yeah.
politically they are making it more Indo-Aryan. Other than that, I
may
think
give
it
some,
is very much
sir,
Dravidian.
Yeah, I may give some example to know how you know the similarities or dissimilarities. So for example, here we have a lot of words from Tamil to English or English to Tamil. For example, that is, it shows a lot of similarities. For example, the word "ondru" in Tamil, in English, it refers to one, one. Then
No, sir, we are talking about Sinhala.
attached talk, the last vowel loss in the initial question we have a same. So when we have a such type of words, it shows accidental similarities, but not how to identify whether the words from two different languages which are genetically related or not. If it is genetically related, it developed from the common source, that is the ancestral language. If it is not, shows the similarities based on the genetic relations, it may be a borrowed word. It should be considered as a borrowed from the second language or other sources. It is not at all a native word. If you borrowed the words at the instance, it may be used for our society for a long time. After some situations, suppose even the illiterate people also use the same word without knowing whether the word is our own or borrowed words. In that situation, it may be considered as a nativized concept. So nativization, when the word mingled with our
I think Professor again has issues.
Yeah.
I-
Actually, may I tell something about this? You know,
Yeah.
Sinhala
So I
has
just want
borrowed
to
a
get
lot
my
of words
clarity.
from Sanskrit. Yeah, a lot of words borrowed from Sanskrit and more than Tamil, other Dravidian languages. Actually, Malayalam, Kannada, and Telugu, they borrowed a lot of Sanskrit words. Actually, that's why we are seeing more similarities in words wise because of the more similarity as the Tadbhava and Sama words are available from Sanskrit. That's the reason most of the Sinhalese think that these are Sinhala words. Actually, this is borrowed from Sanskrit. And same way, a lot of Sanskrit words borrowed other languages more than Tamil. I think that's the main reason we are, seen as the more similarities, no? But in language-wise, there are not too much similarities. Genetically, Sinhala actually belong to Dwaran family of language, and Kannada belong to Dravidian family of language. That the actually more similarity.
Because I have an understanding
Other
that
words are also there.
Sinhala is
Prakrit
a
and
combination of Pali plus Tamil. Am I right? Because someone told me like that. So
where Sinhala?
Sinhala is a combination of Pali plus Tamil.
No.
Oh, no.
No, it's actually developed from one type of Prakrit and gradually borrowed Sanskrit and Pali words and Tamil words also. Gradually, it's developed as isolate Prakrit, no? It's one type of Prakrit like Maharashtra Prakrit or other type of Prakrit because we have some evidence in inscriptional evidence and other things are available, no? From 3rd century BC.
Okay, sir.
So any more questions? So this is last call for questions. Yes. So shall we move to vote of thanks? Himaya? Professor, are you there? Professor Chandramohan?
Yes.
Not there.
Yes. Okay. Yes, Himaya?
Madam.
Okay. Before vote of thanks,
Yes, please wait. Professor want-
yeah. Well, so first of all, I would like to thank Professor Nirupa Jayasundara for giving this opportunity to discuss some of the futures about the phonological structure in the Dravidian languages. So I feel very happy to join in this group and share my views based on the research activities in the field of historical linguistics. Once again, I thank Dr. Nirupa Jayasundara and all other faculty members in the University of Sri Lanka, and thank all the participants for giving me these opportunities to join with you to share my views. So in between some that is network issues, I may lost some signals. Okay, that is I may that some way I manage that. Anyway, I thank you one and all once again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We are honored to be
Yes,
here
thank you.
with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Himaya, you can start.
On behalf of everyone attending this online webinar on the historical study of phonological changes in Dravidian languages, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to Dr. P. Chandramohan for your insightful presentation. Your knowledge and expertise on the topic were truly impressive, and you did an excellent job of explaining the complex phonological changes that have occurred in Dravidian languages over time. We particularly appreciated the clear explanation with examples and the in-depth analysis. So all of us, and we are grateful for the opportunity to have heard from such a distinguished speaker. Thank you once again, sir, for your time and for sharing your expertise with us. Next, I must thank to Dr. Nirupa Jayasundara, our senior lecturer in Department of Languages and Communication Studies, who encouraged us to conduct this session and her attempt to organize this enlightening evening for all. And also, I'm truly grateful to the presence of Head Department of Computer Science, Trincomalee Campus, and also Dr. Rohan Savarimuthu, Senior Lecturer in Department of Languages and Communication Studies. Finally, I thank to all the participants, including professors from Sri Lanka and also India, for allocating this time for us. Your willingness to connect virtually and share your time is greatly appreciated. So thank you very much all once again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Himaya. So participant will join another session in the coming week. Thank you. Thank you for your presence. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Sir?
Yeah, shall I leave?
Sir, oh, yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
you. Yes.